Live on a Thursday. We are the Ranger Things Have Happened podcast. I am your host, Ricky Diffendale, and as you can see, I'm flying solo tonight. I got my main man, my buddy Bill, in the background. Bill, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Ricky. I really got to get a webcam just for when everyone cancels on us.
Yeah, so you plan a show early in the week. You say, hey, what night works best for you guys? And the Rangers aren't playing. Thursday sounds good. And then, 10 minutes prior, people bail. So what can you do? So yeah, you definitely need a webcam, not only for these situations, just and also just because you're a handsome guy and we deserve to see your face.
Oh, you're too kind. Sorry if you hear a fire truck in the background.
It's okay. It's probably Andrew on his way to save all the lives of the city, and that's why he's not here tonight. We are, as always, brought to you by Johnny C's Tees. Uh, Quality man, quality product for all your swag needs. Hats, t-shirts, he's got them all. And yeah, he does stitching now. So I'll give them a follow on Instagram or Twitter or whatever he's got out there. But Johnny C's Tees brings you the Ranger Things Have Happened podcast. And what the Rangers bring us is just unbridled joy nowadays. I think back, Bill, remember a few weeks ago when the season started and we started with a monologue
Oh yeah, that was fun.
and I told people not to jump
Don't jump.
because it was 3 games into the season and people were ready to jump and they needed some talking to, which I did. And there's plenty of people out there that did the same thing. And here we are, 20 games into the season. The Rangers have won 8 of 9 games. Uh, oh my God, it's just been so fantastic to watch happen. It's nice to put the game on, and every night you just feel like they're going to win. And a major part of that is their goaltender, the goaltending they're getting from Igor Shesterkin. As I told you before we came on the air, it's his city. We're just living in it. I think he has solidified himself as the next star in this city, really stepping in to Henrik Lundqvist's shoes, figuratively. But it's just fantastic to see. I know when the Islanders get healthy, his buddy Sorokin plays for them, so I'm looking forward to this rivalry between the two Russians. Uh, Not in the city because the Islanders will never be a city team, but I just such good vibes surrounding the team and surrounding Igor, and you love to see it. What I hated to see though last night was at the end of the game, everyone's congratulating him. The backup goaltender, Alexander Georgiev, uh, I don't know what you call it, but I would call it a snub
Ooh.
because normally, as the backup, you want your teammates to succeed. You're part of the team. You could be frustrated that you're not playing. Bill, have you ever played on a team? I know the answer to this question, where there were players that were better than you.
Yes, it's every day in
Every,
wrestling
every
softball.
team I've ever played on, myself included. Um,
uh,
but you don't.
no, I'm very happy when my team wins, regardless of who's out on the field. I mean, yeah,
That's what I mean. Like I understand
you
like playing time, and people
yeah,
sometimes people want to play. You feel like you're a pro. You feel like you have the ability, but the writing is on the wall here. You know, for now, you're a New York Ranger, so you can't like. If it was something in the locker room what we can't see, it's fine. But like right on my television screen, I saw it right away. Instead of like a big handshake and a hug or like a helmet tap, he basically put out his hand, gave him a tiny little pound, stone faced, and immediately turned around.
gave
Didn't hug him, didn't smile, didn't do anything, and it really rubbed me the
ignore
wrong
the
way.
greeting.
It was rude,
Maybe I
and I was
and this is just a dumb casual Islanders fan talking. I watched the game last week, obviously. Shusterkin was like lights. I know it was the Islanders, like C squad, but like there were some opportunities that should have been back of the net, and he was making moves that were just ridiculous. So and
because he's fantastic.
because he's fantastic, and wasn't it Georgiev was the other one that like he would just always was great against the Islanders? I guess
That's correct.
that's kind of gone now. So I can maybe understand his frustration that he's like, well, shit. Now I just don't have a place. Now I'm really just a backup, not like the like kind of specialty guy. If we want a
You
baseball
can be
analogy,
frustrated, but you can't show it
yeah.
because people are going to call you out on it, myself included. And I was happy to like other people noticed it and people were talking about it and they agreed. Like be a pro. You're getting paid still. I know you don't want to be on the bench, but you know what? I don't think he's going to be here very long. And I'm hoping that people, the team, noticed that kind of behavior. I didn't like it. Um, You got to be there for your team while you're on the team. And he had some problems with a teammate last year too. And everybody took his
They
side
did.
and attacked the other guy, and then he was shipped out. So I don't know. I think his days are numbered here, and I'd drive him to the airport after that. I don't like it. Like I said, it's Igor's city, so you treat him with respect. He is the chosen one, and sorry, Georgie, but you had your chance. You never really popped as the starter, except for against the Islanders. But you know what? They only play the Islanders so many times a year, and now I don't want him on the ice at all. So there was that. That rubbed me the wrong way. So here we are, finding things to complain about after winning 8 of 9 and being really successful. But that's what we do as fans.
But
Dryden Hunt has been a very pleasant surprise to me. I'll be honest, when they signed him in the summer, my initial reaction was, "Ooh, never heard of him before." But he's played hard the whole year, and through circumstances and injuries, he finds himself on a line with two great players in Panarin and Strome, and he's producing goals. He was, however, penalized a 5-minute major last night for boarding, hitting someone from behind. And I got to be honest, when I first saw it, I thought, okay, that's a penalty, 2 minutes. Not only did they give him a major, but they kicked him out of the game. And I think a lot of people were shocked. I think Sam and Joe were also shocked. And it's hard for me to be impartial because obviously
right.
it's hard to be objective as a Ranger fan. But I really didn't think it was as malicious as some other things you see. And when we bring our guest on, she tweeted last night that literally Sidney Crosby with two hands grabbed the guy by the shoulders and whipped him backwards into the board. There was no penalty on the play. That's like a premeditated, I'm going to grab you and throw you and try and hurt you kind of thing. But because he's Sidney Crosby, nothing happens. Dryden Hunt, who scored a goal last night again, is kicked out of the game. And they called up Morgan Barron from Hartford. So it's leading some people to believe that maybe there might be a suspension coming. I just think it's all overkill. The guy he hit did bleed from the eye, and I think that didn't help. But
Yeah.
I didn't think he was trying to hurt him. So we'll see. We'll see if this weekend Dryden Hunt gets to play or if he'll be suspended. And my last thought that I had written down was that Capo Caco is white hot. It's just so great to see. It's so slow of a start, and people start to get frustrated because expectations are super high. A high draft pick, the number 2 pick overall. He hasn't quite popped yet, and I think we're starting to see the beginning of that pop. I think he's got 7 or 8 points in the past 7 games. He looks great on the ice. He looks confident. And that's all we've ever wanted to see from him. And I think we forget that he's young. What is it, 21, 22? They're kids. I'm going to be 37 next week.
They
It's
really
crazy.
are.
So all good things, except for the Georgiev thing. All good things with the Rangers. And I wish I had other people to talk about. So why don't we bring someone on, Bill, that I could talk about all this with? We have a special guest tonight, a repeat guest. She was on with us last season. We have this connection because we both were finalists for the CFO position with the Rangers. So that's kind of how we were brought together. And then, of course, the Twitterverse with the Rangers. But Natalina, or Lean, as she likes to go by, joins me on the Ranger Things Have Happened podcast. I think we have her. Here she comes. There she is. Lean, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad you're here. I'm all by myself, as you can see. Very different world from the last time you were on. I think there were like 6 of us.
No worries.
This is crazy. I don't know. Were you listening to anything I was just saying?
I was in the waiting room, so I couldn't hear it.
Okay, so first of all, how's life? How's your family? How's everything?
Everything's good. Everything is. It's been a good start to the year so far. To the school year, I should say. My years start in September, so.
Yeah, it's hard. Is it going fast for you? I feel like it's going really fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe we have only a couple weeks till Christmas. My goodness.
I will take it with a smile, though.
I agree.
So, this is it's fantastic. You think about where we've been so far this year, earlier in the season with people completely on the ledge after 3 games, which I never really understood. But here we are now, and the good times are rolling. So just what are your general thoughts around the team? What are your feelings?
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised, because I did tweet it back when everyone was freaking out. I said, call me crazy, but I think the Rangers are going to be good this year. I don't know. I just think it's first of all you have to remember that like the Rangers weren't ever bad. They just weren't, who we were so spoiled to have watched for so many years before they kind of fell off for a little bit. So I felt like it's kind of funny when you're like shocked that the Rangers are good. Everyone's like, "Are the Rangers good?" I'm like, "They're usually
They're
good."
still asking. They're still asking that question. The answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer is absolutely 100% yes. They're one of the best teams in the league on paper, and I think that they always have been for for a really long time. It was always you'd see them on paper and you'd be like, who are these other teams? Like, who do the Boston Bruins have beside their perfection line? Who does this team have that? Like, how do these teams compete? And then you look at our team and like, there's like a couple guys that you're like, eh. And then on paper, it's like every other guy's supposed to be good. Supposed to be good. We got a star over here. We got this. So it was just about clicking. I think it honestly had a lot to do with coaching. I think we have a winning coach. I think Gallant has showed that we find ways to win games. Like, I don't know, that Bruins game on Black Friday, I would have been, I'm done, I'm over it, I'm leaving, shut the TV off. Like, me, my dad, my brother, like, we were just chilling, like, okay, like, it's one, we're down by one, and then we came back, and we're like, okay, and then we're down again, we're like, okay, like, there's just some type of, it's like they're never out of it. And I feel like that's the biggest thing with the Gallant team is that no matter what, they're just never out of it.
Because there have been times where like a 1-0 lead just seems insurmountable, and you don't get that feeling anymore. You always get the feeling that something's going to happen this year in these games.
Yeah, and I feel like too, it's funny because they're like a team now that when they're a team that we used to play against and be like, how are we not coming back on this team? We'd be losing by 1-0 and doing, whatever we had to do or down by 3-1, and we just couldn't find a hole. We couldn't find a way back in the game, no matter how we were playing. And just watching them play again yesterday against the Flyers, like that's what happens now when you go down against us by a goal or two. Like you're not coming back. At least we're not making it easy for you. It's like I think the stat I read was like every time they score more than one goal a game, they automatically have won this season.
It's a crazy stat. Like scoring 2 goals, they're tough to beat.
Yeah,
or they've like lost once in overtime or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it also has to do with obviously the insane play of Shesterkin, where it's like he's not going to let in more than one goal, or if he is, they kind of rally around him. So I just think it's all clicking, and I think a lot of it has to do with the coach. I don't know what he does with them because I don't know.
Keep doing it.
But whatever it is, got to keep doing it. And to be honest, the guys that we picked up that people were questioning, and me being one of them, with guys like Dryden Hunt, just guys that we didn't know, guys that you're like, oh, your big move was Dryden Hunt. I'll take Dryden Hunt in the playoffs any
day of
the week. And I'll take him any day of the week. You need those types of players. You're not going to in the NHL, you're not going to have a team full of Panarins. This isn't the MLB where you could just start signing guys like the Mets have been doing, which
love that too.
But you got to have role players, and I think that the Rangers have finally found their guys, their role players. They're guys like Reeves, and they're guys like Hunt, and they're guys like Kevin Rooney, who are there doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing while they're there.
Am I selfish? That like I don't know why it shouldn't bother me, but it bothers me that Igor doesn't get shutouts at like the clip I feel like he should. Like there's always the one goal that squeaks by. Like last night, he's going to cover the puck and the stick just tips it in. It grinds my gears a little bit because the guy across town gets the shutouts, Sorokin, and I hate it because people will always compare them. But he gets the win, so I guess that's really what matters. I guess I am being selfish.
I mean, I guess of course. I mean, if for our standpoint, you want him, to get those shutouts for himself. But I think the biggest thing with him, especially still, is such a young. We forget how young he really is. As long as it's not, messing up his confidence, which I don't think it is at all. I think he's just gaining more and more confidence. Then I guess we won it all. But if we take the win, I'll take the win. I'll take the wins and a goal against Shesterkin every game than what Sorokin's doing over there with the Islanders. So.
I just know that there's kids out there that are just getting into hockey, and they're gonna grow up with Shesterkin the way that we kind of came of age with Lundqvist, and it's like the cycle's repeating itself, and it warms my heart, to be honest. It's just we're very blessed with our goaltending.
I mean, we really are to go from a guy like Hank, who was, one of the best in the league for so long, cup or no cup, I really don't care. You could say whatever you want.
He won a gold medal.
Yeah, and fans of hockey, not those Devils and Islanders fans that just want to kind of like get under your skin and whatever. A genuine fan of hockey knows Lundqvist, he's a Hall of Famer. He's who he is, for years and years and years. We just grew up like that. And it was always just like Rangers had a chance, and I feel like that's the same way with Shesterkin, that he just gives them a chance and they play confident in front of him. And the Rangers are known for those little lapses in judgment where they give up that goal here and there. They give up that breakaway here and there, that opportunity here and there that Shesterkin's 99% of the time going to stop. So I'm really excited about him. And I think, too, people forgot, like, this is how good he was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his numbers coming over to the NHL when he started backing up Lundqvist, like, he was this good. I just think he didn't really get to showcase it right away just because the year was weird and he was playing a backup role and all this. And he was splitting time with Georgie and just all that stuff. But now that he's the one, he's the guy, this is exactly who he was as advertised, if not better.
And then he was starting to roll, and then the pandemic happened, and the season got cut off. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
It is. He deserves it. And that little comment he made yesterday about wanting to cry when, the chants were going, you just love a guy like that. And I think that's another big thing with this team. Like, you see them and they physically on their faces love each other, love the fans and playing at MSG and being Rangers. And then their confidence is just growing. Like, you see guys, like, just those little clips that the Rangers Twitter will tweet out, like, of Lafreniere, like, making funny comments and jokes, like, as they're coming out. Like, that kid's brand new. He's a young, basically, like, he's a rookie, and he is a leader of the team already, especially when you already got guys on this team. You have 6 alternate captains. You have enough leaders where the young guys don't have to take on that role, but they want to because they like it and they feel that confidence. So, like, and you see guys like Kakko, like a confident Kakko versus no offense, but a Kakko playing again for David Quinn, 2 completely different players.
And in the vein of like the team getting along, did you see what happened at the end of the game last night with Georgiev and Shesterkin?
So I didn't physically see it, but my dad, I like turned my head on the TV, and then my dad literally looked at me and said, "That was weird. Did you see, like, Georgie looked a little," and then I saw it obviously a little bit on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know. I guess when there's nothing to not complain about, but when there's nothing like going on, there's no drama. I think we're so used to the drama of the current Rangers team with all this stuff going on that you kind of look for something. But I mean, you have to remember, Georgie played really well for us when he was, when he was called on. And this year, he's obviously not. And he talked about it. And, he's very open with the inconsistency of not being the number one guy has affected him. Obviously, that doesn't mean that he's going to take the number one spot then over Shesterkin to appease him. But, you don't know what's going on. So it's like, as long as no one's, punching anyone behind the scenes, like, the drama we've been kind of used to in the past, then it's like, what are you going to do? He's an athlete. Maybe he's frustrated. Maybe he's a little selfish if he's kind of upset that when the team's doing so well. But again, we don't really know what happened. So
I get the frustration. I'm not looking for things to complain about, nor should we be. It just, your dad saw it. It was right in my eye, like clear as day. I'm like, that's just usually, a goalie will grab a guy by the shoulder and tap his head and like smile at him. He just fist bump, stone face, turned around, got out of there. Oh my God. I get you're frustrated, but I mean, look what's happening. Like, look what Igor's doing. You could be mad that this is happening for him and not you. Be jealous, but don't be a better teammate. That's all I thought. That's all.
No, I agree for sure. I think that, you can't have one guy, not that he's going to bring the team down, but if they let him or whatever, you can't have one guy bringing the team down. So, and
nothing should upset this apple cart right now.
Yeah, and I was a strong proponent, and I won't ever try to lie and or whatever, take it back. Like, I love Georgie, and I think that he deserved a lot better from the fans when he was playing well. I don't think he ever got the recognition, but now he's not, and I don't see him being the backup to Shesterkin, moving forward on a playoff, on a cup contending team.
So who do you think of, like, all the new guys, either on the ice or off? Who's had the biggest impact on this team so far this year? The new faces.
What'd you say?
Of the new faces.
Oh, of the new. Because I was going to say the guy who's the complete opposite of new, the least new of them all, Chris Kreider. But I would say new faces. That's hard because, like I said, they're really all coming in and playing, this role. But I think I have to give credit, to a guy like Keandre Miller, who I think has been shaky,
A
sometimes in
little bit.
Truba on the ice. But I think he's finding his way, and I think it's another thing with confidence. I think that goal that he had, that insane highlight reel of a goal, it kind of turned something on in him that I think he's been playing with a lot more confidence. But I think going forward, the guy is going to be Kako. And I just think it's because Gallan's shown already that he has no problem throwing him on the first line, and that he has no problem, having him be that third piece of the Strome Panarin magical duo that they are. And I just think with guys like Kreider, guys like Mika, Panarin, Strome, they're the vets of the team. They're going to play their role every night. And when guys like Kako, guys like Lafreniere are going to now start matching that and becoming critical parts of the team, not just like, look at Kako getting a chance up there with Panarin. It's going to be like Kako's the guy on that line, and that's like a known thing moving forward. I think Kako, has really impressed me, and just seeing his confidence and stuff and him smiling. Like, how do you not root for him? Like, he's just...
No, we're getting all the things we wanted, that we didn't get from Quinn. He's not getting buried on the fourth line. He's getting the minutes he deserves, and look what's happening.
Yeah,
He's starting to pop.
I think it's exciting. I mean, they have a lot of guys, so it's like, I think it's just finally coming together. I think it's funny when when people are like, they see flashes of a guy like Julien Gauthier, and they're like, oh my, and I'm like, no, that's what he's supposed to be. I'm like, we haven't seen it.
This is the official podcast of Julien Gauthier.
This is literally the train, and people better hop on it because we're going fast. We're moving along. So I think that, they get a shot, and it's like, what, they're finally kind of showing what they're supposed to be. And they're not in like a full-blown pandemic season. They're not in this weird bubble. They're not in a shortened season. Just regular hockey that they get to play.
There's flow, and you're not gluing them to the bench every time they make a little mistake.
Yeah, I think that it's just, we don't know, as, I've never personally played any professional sport, and most of us,
Wait a minute, you haven't?
I'm not a professional hockey player, nor am I a GM, but, or a coach or whatever it might be. But just as a coach, of young kids, me coaching kids, when they're confident, they're just better. Even if they're not the best, they're going to be better when they feel like you believe in them. And that works for, the 10-year-olds and the 15-year-olds that I coach, and it works for, the 21-year-olds coming over to a completely new country without their families, and thrown into New York City to play at Madison Square Garden in front of thousands and thousands.
No pressure.
It's crazy. A guy like Shesterkin even coming in, and you just got to fill Henrik Lundqvist's shoes. No big deal. Like, not only do you have to be good, but you have to
his personal hero.
Right? It's just it's like me being like, you're gonna go out there and replace Mia Hamm. I'm like, good luck. Okay, I guess I'll take that on. So it's been exciting.
Did I read that there have been talks between the Rangers and your boy Ryan Strome on a new contract? There's truth to that.
I read it. I think that they've been reading my tweets and finally have succumbed to the idea that Strome shall be here for a very long time. I think Strome has been given the treatment of, there's always one player who everyone wants to replace, but when you ask them, and I think this is really for any team, when you ask them, who do you replace them with? They have nobody. They have nobody better, I should say. They have nobody. They have someone different because, the grass is it always greener on the other side? They'll just start naming guys, this guy. And I'm like, yeah, but Strome's points are better. Strome's this is better. Strome has the connection with Panarin that's undeniable. All these different things. And then you're like, well, then, okay, who are you? Then, I'm all for it. I'm open to suggestions. Who is better that's going to replace Strome? And there's no answer for that. At the price that, I think they could get him at. Also, that's obviously a huge thing. You can go out and try to sign the next best center in the whole league and pay him $10 million, but the Rangers don't really have that. That's that option, or really that it's not necessary when you have a guy like Strome.
It's I don't like when people say Strome's only putting up points because he's playing with Panarin. Well, okay. Well, if he stays and they sign him, who's he going to be playing with? Panarin's not like Panarin's going anywhere. Like, what do you mean that you can't? Okay, you can't have one without the other, but you have both. Like, what would the Rangers' record be without Shesterkin in net?
It's just so I love
because he's in net. He's here. He's playing goalie. Don't tell me what it'd be like if he wasn't.
Honestly, it's like saying, let's trade Girardi because he's only good because he plays on a pair with McDonough. I mean, that's
playing on a pair with McDonough. Okay.
They're Girardi and they're Girardi and McDonough, and I won't touch them for as long as until they retire or they bleed out on the ice, and I have to replace one of them. I mean, obviously McDonough, heartbreaking, in that trade. But, it's like, what do you mean he's only good because of this? Like that is a special thing to have between the two of them. And I think that's something that the Rangers have a lot of. They have a lot of these little bromances around the team that just click. Zibanejad and Kreider, click. Panarin and Strome just click. You have guys like Fox and
Fox and
Lindgren.
Lindgren.
Right? Yeah,
Click.
exactly. Fox and Lindgren click. You just have these little, even Rooney on that fourth line is starting to click with his guys. It's like, why would you want to mess that up? I don't know. I guess it's like there are people that are starting to, finally settle down on it. And I get the hype of like when we were kind of refacing the whole team, you want to bring in as many new guys as possible. But it's like you might have the team right here. Of course, I would assume that, Greg McKegg's not going to be on the cup contending team in a year or two. And they just called up Morgan Barron, regardless of if McKegg is on the COVID protocol or not. The Rangers have a lot of guys in their own farm system that will come through eventually. But right now you have like a very solid playoff contending team.
Let me ask you this. So Barron's coming up. Do we think it's because of Gaudreau's stitches, or might there be some type of ill-conceived suspension of Dryden Hunt for a penalty that I don't think warranted a major or a misconduct? I'll give you the boarding last night, but I don't know where they came up with 5 minutes. I don't know if it was the blood, but I'm scared that he's going to get suspended for that, and I just don't think it's right. I also had flashbacks of Mark Stahl when Gaudreau took that puck off his face, and thankfully they said he's all right. He got a couple stitches, but what do you think's going on with that?
From what I read about Gallant saying that he said Gaudreau's okay, which I honestly like gasped out loud when I saw that. I could feel it
It was
through
bad.
my
Like
TV.
his visor broke. That didn't look
Yeah.
good.
And so, I mean, I'm happy to hear that he's okay. I think Hunt, unfortunately, with the way that the league works, and because Hunt is not Tom Wilson and he's not Crosby and he's not, the many other guys that casually get away with things that they should not.
Wasn't it you that tweeted the thing about like, okay, so Crosby literally throws the guy across the ice, but it's true. Like, what the hell's going on?
I said literally murdered, and someone decided to
That
write
was it.
back
Murdered.
and say you're not using the word literally correctly. And I said, I think that I was like kind of like that's kind of the point. But yeah, I mean, I think it's possible that they're preparing for that, or that they obviously know something maybe that we don't. But I just think that the NHL is the most inconsistent league with punishing players, and I don't necessarily think that there's rules, right? A lot of people talk about the Tom Wilson thing. They talk about Panarin getting fined, and they're like, you are just mad because he got fined the same as. It's really not about Tom Wilson at all. It's not about him. It's about the rules, right? So him bashing a guy's head in the ground should not warrant the same amount of money as what Panarin did. So yes, it's not Tom Wilson's fault that he got, a $5,000. And I don't think he got in trouble for Panarin. I think he got in trouble when he hit Booch. But regardless, I just think it's more of an overhaul of the punishments itself that needs to be figured out, because there's no consistency. Like Crosby Crosby killed that whoever that was the other day, and nothing was said, nothing was done, nothing was anything. And then you got a guy like Dryden Hunt who, hit a guy, whatever, you want to give him a 2-minute, but then you throw him, you watch the replay, you
still throw him out of the game.
You discuss it, you look at it. That's the thing that blows my mind. Always they tape all this time and then they still make the wrong call.
I thought for sure they were going to downgrade it to 2 minutes from 5. And they went the complete opposite way and threw him out of the game.
Last night were not my cup of tea. So.
He already did his damage scoring another goal last night, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, before I let you go, prediction.
Okay.
How many goals does Chris Kreider end the season with?
I have over 30 plus goals for I think that's.
I hope so. At this point, I hope
playing it safe. I think that's playing it safe. Kreider's known to be streaky, but not this streak. Not this long.
This is defying the Kreiderian logic. It's usually like 6 games on, 8 games off, 5 games on, 12 games off.
This doesn't really seem streaky to me. This just seems like a guy who got a contract, has a line that he likes, knows that this is his team, and is just turning it on game in and game out. And finally, for the love of all things good in hockey, we have a consistent and coherent power play, which our power play was okay. The last few years was good, but like there was a time when it was just atrocious. So I think he's just that guy right now. But I would say I'll go with 39 goals.
39. Bill, mark it down.
we'll just put the prediction out there, and if he ends up with 50, I'll be the happiest person.
Jeez,
Alive.
I wanted to break 40 finally. That's what I'm hoping. And at this point, it'd kind of be disappointing if he didn't. But whatever.
I
Love him.
agree. I agree.
I would
I
die
think
for him.
I couldn't agree more. I think that he's a guy that's just he's exactly what you want and hope for when you give a guy a contract, and he's a little bit older and you put that trust in him, and he's turning out to be exactly what they need. So
Yes, agreed. Well,
give him the C. Give him the C.
I agree. The last time you were here, we asked you a question about fast food. Do you remember?
I
One
think I said
fast
something
food
about
chain for the rest of your
Chick-fil-A.
life. I think you might have. Bill, did we look it up? I don't think we looked it up.
We did. It was Chick-fil-A.
It was Chick-fil-A. Oh, Bill, you're a great producer.
Someone's got it.
Okay. Well, we have a different question that we tried to come up with on the fly today. So here it is. You ready?
Yes.
Final question. You could only choose one type of alcoholic beverage the rest of your life. What would it be?
Oh gosh. Can we not count unhealthiness or calories or any of that? Are we going
It's all out the
straight
window.
off?
Straight up
Okay.
your preference.
Okay, then we're going with a frozen strawberry margarita.
So that means every time you went out drinking, no matter what time of day, no matter what time of year, it would be a strawberry margarita.
Frozen.
A frozen.
Frozen strawberries in the dead of January.
I'm not a tequila fan and I'm not a margarita fan until it's frozen, and then I'll drink it forever. So that's my answer. My final answer. Lock it in.
Lock it in, Bill, because we're going to ask other people, obviously. That one will be hard to forget, though, because it surprised me a little. But listen, to each their own. And Lean, thank God for you today. Otherwise, it would have been me by myself trying to talk to Billy, who's an Islander fan. So we appreciate you joining us, because there's two of us. And you're welcome back anytime when there's more people than just me. But let's go Rangers, and I'll see you out there in the Twitterverse.
Absolutely. I'll see you out there. Excited for a weekend full of Rangers hockey. Thanks so much for having me. Whenever you need me back on, I'll be here. So.
Anytime. And enjoy the final sprint to Christmas break. Hope it goes by smoothly.
Yeah. You too. Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Billy, dare I say it? What a show.
What a show.
He knows her stuff.
Two thoughts. Alexander
Please.
Judas Arison in the chat decided to say, when you asked, I think it's when you asked, what was it? The newcomer making the biggest difference. He said, quote, "Hunt is the straw that stirs the drink. Proved it when he was out last night." And then I had a thought as a not a serious hockey fan. There seems to almost and seriously with the officiating, there almost seems to be two leagues. Not 2 weeks, but there's two sets of rules. There's like you said, there's the Sidney Crosbys, there's your veterans that have been there forever that they could go up and deck someone in the face and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe that happened. Just go walk away for 10 minutes." Or not even 10 minutes, just go on the other side of the rink. And then it seems like all the new kids, they're enforcing they're throwing the book at anyone who's new. And it kind of seems like they're maybe going in that direction where I don't know if that's a bad direction, but if you're going to start throwing the book, but if you're gonna start throwing the book, you got to throw it at everyone. You can't, you can't pick and choose who the book gets thrown at.
I think people just want everything to apply consistently, whether you're a superstar or you're a role player. There can't be two sets of rules. But this is the same thing in society.
Oh yeah,
double standards. It's not just something that's a hockey thing. It's everywhere. So it's frustrating, but. When it affects your team and not someone else's, it pisses people off. So I'm right there with you. There shouldn't be two sets of rules, and just all we're asking for is consistency across the board. If the fans could look at a situation and say "Oh, this is an appropriate punishment," but the player safety department can't, then something's wrong and it needs to be overhauled. Sorry.
Judas has another question.
Is you calling him Judas or is he calling himself Judas?
No, I'm calling him Judas because he didn't join us.
Fucking Judas.
And because
Judas.
It worked with Alexander Judas Arison because, AJ.
Oh, AJ. Oh, you son of a bitch. I didn't even pick that up. Very good.
What did he say? Ask him if Quinn made a mistake pinning Gauthier to the bench or if Gauthier is the player he is now because Quinn treated him that way. I think it's a good debate.
Oh, I don't think there's like a lesson to be learned. Julian Gauthier has scored at every level he's played in his entire life. Um, as Pee Wee's juniors, he was a scorer. And when you pin a guy, in my opinion, when you pin a guy to the bench, you're not teaching him a lesson. You're taking away opportunities for him to start to thrive and putting him in, and taking him out of situations where he's not going to get any better off the ice if he's on the bench. So if you're just looking for a debate, Judas, I would be on the side of he's getting the opportunities now and he's showing the player that he always was. Because even when he wasn't glued to the bench playing for Quinn, he showed he wasn't lighting the light the way we thought he would, but he was showing shades of what he is now as far as his power, his speed, and his skill. So I don't think it helped. I think it hurt to have him on the bench when Quinn was the coach. That would be my side of the debate. And I love how you could be in the waiting room and chat, but you can't just pop your phone on because your house might be noisy. You prick. Anyway, we're obviously not going to play trivia tonight. I don't know if you want to give me your "Who am I" question, Bill.
I do
See if
have
I can answer it.
I do have Cobb and Bino's trivia, but I'll give you my Who am I? Do you want the music? I didn't queue up the right music because you've surprised that on
No, who am I? Here's your music.
Weighing in at 91 kilograms and coming in at 188 centimeters, this left-shooting
do this.
defender played 22 seasons in the NHL, 4 for the Rangers, won his 6th Stanley Cup in the 93 to 94 season, alongside 5 other players he previously won the Cup with, and he coached 1 season. His coaching record for 82 games is 32 wins, 26 losses, 16 ties, and 8 overtime losses. Who am I?
Did you say he was a defenseman?
He was a defenseman.
Is it Kevin Lowe?
Damn it.
So it is.
It is, yeah. That
It is Kevin Lowe. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I was a lot of what you probably don't know, Bill, is there's a lot of Oilers that played for that 93-94 team.
That's why
He was one. He was one of them. He actually just, I think he just became a Hall of Famer. Actually,
And that was my hint. Was
he
was
just got voted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was my hint. Was that he got inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2020?
Right. Yeah, good for him. Kevin Lowe.
Was one of the other questions? Oh, I think.
Oh no, the Oilers just retired his number too. I think.
Did they? Yeah,
Recently.
I don't want to say Bino's question, but it was one of the Rangers and Bino's question that I clicked on him, and then
Oh, and it sent you down the rabbit hole.
it sent me down the rabbit hole. And I think it was 7 players from the Oilers that went to the. Was it 6 or 7? It was 7 because
It was
of,
a bunch.
Gretzky was one of them.
That would be a good trivia question. Name all the ex-Oilers that won a cup in '94 with the Rangers. Maybe we save that for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, sit on Cobb's question and Bino's question. I'll keep mine from today. We'll roll it over if they ever show up again. A couple things I just want to put out there before we adjourn the Ranger Things podcast brought to you by Johnny C's Tees. The Rangers play 2 this weekend. They play tomorrow at home against the Sharks. The Sharks will be on a back-to-back because they're playing the Islanders right now. The Islanders are back from a COVID protocol at CDC Arena. And then on Saturday, they play the Chicago Blackhawks. So hopefully when we come back next week, we're talking about the good times, keeping on rolling, and the Rangers keep winning. That's the hope. I am expecting to see Georgiev get one of these games in a back-to-back this weekend, either tomorrow or Saturday. So we'll see how he steps up. If he wants to be a little sourpuss and not support his dudes, I would get on him if I was in the building. It's put up or shut up. If you're not going to play all the time, when you do play, you better perform to show us why you should be playing in your mind. So if you do get a start this weekend, Georgie, step your fucking game up because we'll be watching. Something not Ranger related. They announced some of the Stadium Series jerseys. I don't know if the Predators are playing the Lightning. I haven't really looked into it, but they released their jerseys. The Nashville jerseys are they're god awful.
Smashville.
They say, first of all, Smashville's corny. Second of all, I don't know who designed this. AJ said he liked them. Alex said he liked them. But, they are rough looking. They are up there with some of the worst I've ever seen, in my opinion. The Lightning isn't that much better. It seems like a lot of people... I'm getting a phone call. Not picking that up. It seems like a lot of people go for the Ranger diagonal writing, like they want to be us. The Penguins are doing the same thing with, like, Pittsburgh diagonal on the jersey. You can't be the Rangers. That's their thing. This one's not as bad. You can't see it. It's not as bad as the Smashville jerseys, but jeez.
I thought the Lightning's was nice. because the bolts. Yeah, everyone's leaning into that. And then, well, I mean, you could always give the Lightning like a lightning bolt is traditionally like an angled logo, so like you could give them that one. But no, the Nashville's is it honestly looks like a rugby jersey that someone was like, oh shit, we need to play hockey now.
It's right. I think it would have been cool if they have this little guitar pick logo on there, and I think it's their
I didn't see
shoulder
that.
logo. If they would have just put that large instead of writing Smashville,
Oh, that would have been cool.
oof, it's rough. It's
Yeah,
rough looking to me.
lean
And
into lean into
the
the
Bolts
culture.
one is meh. And the Pittsburgh Penguins trying to wear these diagonal jerseys that says
Oh, I didn't see the
stop.
Pittsburgh one.
You'll never be as classy as the Rangers sweater. Enough. I'm sick of it. Stop trying. So, I mean, Bill, look, we made it through. Obviously, having Natalina on tonight, we thank her for that. Helped a great deal.
Oh yeah.
Again, we always appreciate her stopping by. She knows her stuff. And we appreciate her coming on, giving her takes on things. Always great to hear from Natalina. And we wish her luck with the rest of the school year as well, again. Because, we're all in the same boat, these teachers. We're almost there. It's a grind. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. My last words, we don't need to hear from Gordon Ramsay. I would just like to say happy 6 months to my daughter, born 6 months ago today. It has been quite the ride,
Aw.
and I'm sure it just gets more interesting from here. Couldn't do it without my wife. Thank you, Kelly. You are the captain of the ship, and
Happy
that's a
birthday-
funny ship
happy
to be
birthday,
on.
Penny.
I'll tell you that. But a lot of good things happening. Holiday season's here, Bill. As you can see, we got the Christmas swag going on in the background. The Rangers are winning games. The weather is turning cold, and
Except for today.
life's not so bad. Yeah, today was like a little weird 60-degree pop, but I think we're getting back to the coldness tomorrow. But yeah, Bill, thanks. We did it.
You.
We got
did
through it together. Nice little 45-minute pod. This is the way it should be, really.
Nice and quick.
Sometimes we drag. You there? Did you leave me, Bill?
Oh no, I purposely did that just to.
Oh, okay.
Just to give you.
Well, this has been the Ranger Things Have Happened podcast. Thank you to Johnny C and Johnny C's Tees, as always, for their support. Thank you to Natalina. If you don't follow her on Twitter, you should be. And thank you to you, Bill, for being here tonight to help me get through these 45 minutes unscathed.
Anytime. Maybe I'll start watching more hockey games too, so I can always talk.
You should do that, and you should get a webcam.
Christmas.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
So is Hanukkah. It's here.
Isn't it here?
Happy Hanukkah, Bill.
I literally saw
Happy
a guy on the belt driving with it was lit up, a menorah on the roof of their car.
Nice. So so it's here. Hanukkah's here.
Yeah, I assume it's here
I
then.
think we're like right in the middle of it or toward the tail end of it. But happy Hanukkah to our Jewish viewers, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with a more expansive panel and hopefully another guest. It's always nice to have guests come on and give their take. And this has been the Ranger Things Have Happened podcast. Let's go Rangers. Let's win 2 this weekend. Keep the good times rolling. This is Igor's city. We're just living in it, including you, Georgiev.